Hey, so I'm driving right now, and I've been thinking about something I keep seeing around me these last few years. I'm 32, and I notice how guys like 18, 20, 25 years old, they just think about money completely differently. Like, not even close to how we used to think at that age. And I want to talk about this because I've been through a lot myself, and I actually have something to say here. Alright, so look, you're 20 years old. You look at your parents. They worked their whole lives, no shortcuts. Paid their taxes, put money into retirement, took out a mortgage. And what do they have? A house that's worth twice what they paid for it, but they can't sell it because they still need somewhere to live. A car they're still paying off, and they're still grinding because retirement just isn't enough to live on. That's the picture a young person sees. And he thinks, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be working toward. That's the plan. Seriously? And then crypto shows up. And it says one very simple thing. Hey, here's a system where there's no bank deciding whether you're allowed to have an account or not. No guy in a suit looking at your credit score telling you, sorry, you're just not good enough. There's just code, a network, math. And if you got in before everyone else, you win. That's it. That's a language a 20-year-old gets immediately. It feels fair to him because the rules are the same for everybody. I remember the first time I heard about Bitcoin. Just walked right past it, didn't get it, thought it was some kind of toy money. Then I look up and the people who got in back then are living completely different lives now. And you think, all right, lesson learned. But I'm a different generation, different background. The guy who's 20 right now, he's got real examples right in front of him. It's not theory. He personally knows someone who got in 2017, got out in 2021. A real person, not some legend. And that changes everything. Now let's talk about banks. What is a bank to a young American today? It's a company that takes your money, invests it, makes real returns on it, and gives you back, like 0.5% in a savings account, while inflation is eating through 3-4% a year, minimum. So mathematically, you're losing money by keeping it in a bank. You just don't see it because the number on your screen doesn't go down. But your purchasing power is. Young people do that math. They're not dumb, they grew up on their phones, they have information right in their pocket. And they're saying, okay, if I'm already losing in the bank, why not take a shot somewhere I might actually see real growth? Honestly, I can't argue with that logic. It's airtight. Retirement. Let's talk retirement. Social Security. You really think a 20-year-old believes Social Security is going to be there when he turns 65? He laughs when he hears that. He actually laughs because he reads. He knows the projections. He knows the fund is expected to run out before he ever gets there. And even if it somehow survives, you can't live on that money in a country where a one-bedroom in any decent city is $1,500 to $2,000 a month minimum. That's not being pessimistic, that's just math. And crypto says, hey, here's an alternative retirement plan. Risky? Yeah. Volatile? Absolutely. But at least it's honest in the sense that you control it. Nobody can turn around at 65 and say, sorry, the money's gone, we changed the rules. It's yours, in a cold wallet, end of story. Look, there's one more thing I noticed that people don't really talk about enough. Crypto for young people isn't just about money. It's community, it's identity. You step into that world and you instantly have your people. There's a language, a culture, memes, shared values, HODL, Dagon, NGMI, WAGMI, APIN. Those aren't just words, those are signals. Same as any subculture. Skaters, hip-hop, gamers. There was always a language and a tribe. Crypto gave young people a whole subculture built around money and financial freedom. And that's genuinely powerful because there's a difference between buying Bitcoin and being part of a movement. I've talked to a ton of young people about this. And you know what I keep hearing? They don't want to work for someone else. like on principle. And not because they're lazy. That's important to understand. It's because they see how the whole employment thing actually works. You're selling your time. You're depending on one employer. They can let you go on a Friday night with one message. We all saw what happened with the tech layoffs the last couple years. People with 10 years at a company. Email on Friday. Access gone by Monday. And everything you built it for somebody else. Crypto, DeFi, Web3. It's an attempt to build something where you're your own boss. Yeah, it's risky. Yeah, it's unstable. But it's yours. And I get that. I genuinely get that impulse. There's one more thing I want to say. Speed. The world has just accelerated to an insane degree. What used to be considered the normal path, go to school, work for 20 years, save up, maybe by 50 you'll have something. That sounds like a cruel joke to someone who's 20 today. He sees people do in one crypto bull run what the traditional path takes an entire career to build. And yeah, most people lose. The stats are brutal. Most retail investors in crypto are in the red, but as long as there are examples of people who made it big, people are going to keep going there. It's just human psychology. People don't buy lottery tickets because they trust the math. They buy them because they believe in their own shot. Look, I want to say something real here. I'm not selling you on crypto. That's not what this is about at all. I've seen people lose everything, literally everything. Took out loans, got in at the peak, market dropped 80%, and they were left with debt and nothing else. That's not a cool story. That's not a success story. That's a life wrecked by greed and not understanding risk. And if you're young and you're thinking about crypto, fine. But never put in more than you're actually okay with losing completely. Never. That's not a guideline you get to skip. But why young people are going there? I just explained it. And it's not stupidity. It's a rational response to a broken system, to a housing market where the median home price in any decent city is $500,000 and up, to student loans people are still paying off at 40, to inflation that's been quietly eating away at real wages, to a corporate culture that squeezes everything out of you and cuts you loose when it's convenient. Crypto says, here's a different path. Risky, volatile, but different. And until the system offers young people something genuinely better, they're going to keep looking for a way out. That makes sense. That's understandable. Judging them for it is like judging someone for trying to find a way out of a room where they can't breathe. They're looking for the exit because the air is gone. You can talk about how they're going about it, but not the fact that they're trying. All right. That's where my head's at today. Later.